have you found any Black Friday plant bargains? So you will notice that I'm surrounded by boxes again, and this one that I've got to my right is huge. I can't quite get it all in shot, so this is quite a bit taller than I was expecting, but I managed to find some really great plant bargains over the Black Friday weekend, and this one is one that's been on my wish list for a while, quite a rare one and relatively expensive, particularly for this size, so I had to get it at the price that it was. So I'll be opening that up in just a second to show you what I've got and how much I paid for it. I'm also using a new plant retailer that I've not used before called House of Kojo, that I've known of for quite a while, but this is the first time using them, so I'll give an honest review of them as I unbox them. And I've got this smaller box here with some additional things in, another plant and some items for a future project that I need to do a little bit of research on to see if it's possible, what I want to do, and then that might be a future video. So keep watching to find out what the plant is and also what's in this box too. So starting with the smaller box, this is the first item of the box. I actually forgot that these were in there. These are caladium bulbs, so a mixed bag of caladium bulbs, so wasn't sure what to expect, and it's great to see there's only one on there that I'm aware of, so the other four will be a surprise. I was going to Google them just to see what they look like, but I might actually just plant them and then find out what they look like when they actually do start growing leaves. So they've come with these instructions as well, which is great, so these will help. I've also made some videos on planting caladium bulbs in the spring so you can grow your own from bulbs, and also how to prepare bulbs for dormancy if you do have any caladiums. Check those out, I'll link those at the end, or at least one of them at the end, and then I'm really excited about planting these up in the new year and seeing what varieties that I've got. So just for reference quickly, I've got the Allure, Summer Breeze, Red Flash, Carolyn Wharton and Carousel. So I'm only aware of the Carolyn Wharton, so intrigued to see what the others come out like. Planting caladiums from bulbs is also a fantastic way to add them to your collection for much less. So I believe these were $9.99 with 50% off, so £5 or $4.99 for the pack of 5, whereas if I was buying them as ready grown plants in the plant shop, even small ones would probably go between sort of 10 and 12.50 now, and even larger ones much more. So these ones cost me about £1 a bulb. Sometimes if you're buying them not on offer, you'd pay 3 to 6 depending on the variety that you're going for, so still works out much better trying to grow them from bulbs yourself. So the next item in the box is this plant, which I'll unwrap in just a second and see what it is. Just a note on the packaging, so really well packed in the box to keep them safe. Lovely floral wrapping paper around each of the plants, and even as the packing paper rather than the brown standard packing paper, and also the eco chips. So I've just double checked that these are eco-friendly. These are the dissolvable chips that just dissolve in water, so they're made of starch. So really great to see eco-friendly packaging, and let's open this up and actually see what's inside this one. So this is the plant unwrapped. This is an Epipremnum aureum Shangri-La. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll know that I really like Epipremnums and climbing or trailing plants. So whenever I see a new one that I don't have, I like to add it to the collection, and this was at a really good price. So it looks like it was $15.99, but with 50% off in the Black Friday sale, so £7.99, £8 thereabouts. And this is really unusual compared to other Epipremnums that I've got. If you're not familiar with it, maybe give it a Google, the Shangri-La. I'll try and bring it a little bit closer to the camera so you can see the leaves and how unusual they are. So they're almost rigid in this cone or curled up shape, and very, very textured, with what looks like almost extra growths coming off the back of the leaves, almost like they should be fenestrating, but they're not fenestrating, and they've got that fenestration detail on the leaf, but they're also remaining as full intact leaves. I'm not sure if that'll change as it gets larger. I'll have to do a little bit of research just to make sure that I care for it in the right way and help it grow to maturity. But yes, really unusual leaves, and maybe something a little bit more eye-catching to mix up the aesthetic in the pothos collection. So this next one's a little bit different. It's not a traditional plant as such. This is actually a box of reindeer moss. So it said in the description that this was good for making things like living walls and plant displays. So that gave me a little bit of inspiration. Maybe I could give making a plant display a go, something vertical or something that could be hung on the wall. So I've bought this in order to do so, but I do need to do a little bit of research to see exactly what's needed, and then I will give that a go and possibly make a future video on how I've done it, and fingers crossed it does work if I give it a try. So now let's open the big box and find out what the star plant is. This is really difficult to film with the size of this box. I've just tipped it on its side so you can see it is actually the size of the box, which is really surprising. It's a lot bigger than I was expecting. So I'll get it out of the box so I can show you the full plant. So here is the large plant from the box. This is quite a bit bigger than I was expecting. However, I do need to note this isn't the plant that I was expecting. So I've actually been sent a different plant to the one that I ordered. I have contacted the seller and I'll wait to hear back from them about what we can do and how we can work it out. However, that being said, this is still a really wonderful plant. Like I said, it's not the one that I bought or ordered, but it is still really healthy and much bigger than what I was expecting. This is a philodendron red emerald, so you might have recognised that as I was holding it closer. It's quite hard to obviously see the full thing in shot because it is really large, as you can see there. It's on a moss pole to about here, and it's got about a foot or a foot and a half of growth on top as well, so it's really healthy. Lots of new growth, loads of leaves around the bottom as well, lots of smaller leaves. So this does still have wonderful colours on it as well, these dark green leaves with the red stems and new growth. In terms of the painted lady, if you're not familiar with it, the painted lady has brighter leaves, so much more of a range of colours with sort of yellow or gold and speckled green and so on, even sort of pinky red sort of coming through on the leaves, so it's a little bit brighter. With the painted lady as well, I said the reason I bought it was such good value at the price that I found it. So full price, the painted lady was £79, £79.99 for an 80cm plant, so up to about here, thereabouts. And that was still a really reasonable price because I've seen them in a chain garden centre for slightly taller for about £200. So even at £79.99, really great price. However, with the Black Friday sale, they were half price off. So £39.99 for a painted lady of 80cm is a bargain that I've not found those plants for at that price anywhere for that particular size. So that's why I bought that particular plant. This one, obviously I paid £39 for that and I've received this plant. A red emerald of this size is still fantastic value at that price. That would still be less than what I would sort of expect to pay for something of this size on sale. So while I await to hear back from the seller if there's a way to sort of work out maybe getting a painted lady in some way and how we would work that out between us, I'm not sure. So I will maybe do an update separately or do something on Instagram at Grow Your Wellbeing, an update on this particular order. While this isn't the plant that I was expecting, and I probably wouldn't have bought it had it been the one that was on the sale, it is still a really wonderful plant that's come in the order. So I'm still pleasantly surprised, just not with the plant that I was expecting. So despite receiving an incorrect plant and the plant that was meant to be the star of the order, I am really pleased with the order overall. I have received one of the plants that I was expecting, and even the one that I wasn't expecting. They are incredibly good value for what's been paid for them, and they are quality plants. They've been packaged really well in really sort of aesthetically pleasing packaging, eco-friendly packaging. They arrived really quickly as well, so they've been shipped out very shortly after being ordered. So I can't fault the order in any other way. And as I said, I've contacted the retailer just to find out about what we can do in terms of the wrong plant being sent. So I'll do an update on that separately. But overall, actually really happy with generally the quality of the plants, the packaging of the plants, and hopefully service as well, which we'll find out shortly. So that sparks a question for the comments. Has this ever happened to you? What did you do in that instance if you've received incorrect plants in a plant order? Did you need to send the plant back? Did you get a refund? Did you just keep it if you were happy with the plant that you received and maybe it was something that you wanted in the collection? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you've got any questions about anything that you've seen, then do put that in the comments below too, and I'll respond to everyone. As I mentioned at the start about caladium bulbs, if you are looking to get some caladiums in your collection, bulbs are a great way to do that at such a low cost, or much lower than you would pay for established plants. So I'll link the caladium video at the end so you can check that out if that's something you're looking to do. And also, as I mentioned, if you've got caladiums and you're unsure about how to care for them over winter, then also check out the channel, as there's a video on that too, so you can keep your plants coming back year after year. If you found this video useful, then consider hitting the subscribe button and the like button, and we'll have new videos every week. As always, thank you for watching Grow Your Wellbeing.